She said she would.
You're not important enough. Just like me. I'm not either.
Hey, we're not on, guess what?
He's on.
Oh, jeez.
All right, we're ready.
Peter saw you do that.
Hold on.
It's in the public.
Lance and Jude.
Ready?
Yeah.
Still don't know about that one.
Good evening, and welcome to the Village of Webster Board meeting for February 27, 2025. If you would stand with me, please, for the pledge, and Jude, if you would lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Seated. At this point, I would like to open up the floor to public comment this evening. If anybody would like to address the board, you're welcome to come to the podium, state your name, and what you would like to discuss. I'll bring before the board. It doesn't seem as if there is anyone who wishes to do that, so at this point, I will close the public comment portion of the meeting. I would like to address the next issue that we have, or the next item we have on our agenda for this evening, and that is for a public hearing. It is not quite 7:05. However, the point of discussion, or for bringing this up, which would be a local law to allow the overriding of the tax levy if it were deemed necessary and or appropriate. This local law would have to be done, or is required to be done, on a yearly basis. It is not something that goes into effect and would continue on year after year. At this particular point, having had two budget workshops and the budget presented to the board, it does not seem as if it is necessary for this year to do this. I have a concern in that once you establish simply doing this, whether it be necessary or unnecessary, you just roll over the date and do it from year to year. However, for probably the sake of economy, etc., having to file this and go on from there, it does not seem as if it is necessary for this year, and therefore I would like to take this off of the public meeting and not submit it if we were passing it to the state. So I don't know if I need a motion to do that. I don't think so. Don, would I need a motion? I don't. We just leave it off of the agenda.
No, you don't really need a resolution. I guess it's scheduled for a public hearing
If anybody would like to speak to it.
I just have one question. Okay, if you don't pass this law, your budget, you've pretty much got the budget down pat. Something happens and you can't dip into reserves, or the reserves can't accommodate, a major catastrophe. Can you increase it then? Can it be increased once you say no, the same year? No? Okay.
Not after the budget's passed. Well, you would be, there's a lot more
Well,
things to
You
go
can
through.
still do it, it's just a
Suppose you could do a
process.
budget modification.
Yeah, it's just a longer
Okay.
process.
Yeah.
Right, Don?
At that point.
yeah, you could, if you wanted to, you could you could still do the public hearing, but just don't pass the local law. Just let it sort of die. And then at least you've got the public hearing part out of the way, and then down the road, if some catastrophe happens, which I can't imagine what would happen to cause, you could then consider it.
Right.
But the process only takes 2 weeks anyhow, even if you had to start all over.
So I think it does have to be passed before you pass the budget.
Well, of course, it's gotta be done
Well, yeah.
before you pass the budget, but that's not till the middle of April, right? There's still 2 months.
First meeting in April, but,
I think by law, it's gotta be passed by April 30th.
yes, but I'm sorry, our meeting to schedule, or to pass it is scheduled for the first meeting in April, but yes.
Well, you could make it the second meeting if you
Yeah.
wanted
If
to.
we needed to.
If we
Correct.
need,
You could push it, you could have a special meeting on April 30th if you wanted to. So, but
If there's a catastrophe,
Yes,
yes,
yeah.
hold a meeting,
But-
we do a
That
budget
makes
modification.
sense.
I suppose since you scheduled a public hearing, you published a public hearing, and one resident actually showed up for the public hearing,
We had it.
you might as well kick it to, well, yes, but this is our regular residents at every.
Three, yep, three.
You should, again, have the public hearing, but then you don't have to take a resolution to pass the local law. You can just let it sit.
So open the public hearing.
I will do that. It is 7:06 on my watch, and at this particular point, I will open the public hearing in regards to a local law to allow the override of the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Section 3-6, if determined necessary and/or appropriate.
I think we need to take a motion to open it. We typically do.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane? Trustee Lancy? Mayor Byers? Motion passes.
I'll repeat my question. If the local law to increase the tax cap is not approved for this year, and the village suffers a catastrophic event where you have to dip in reserves, which wouldn't cover the catastrophic event, can you retroactively pass this law?
No,
Okay,
no, it's gotta be done before the budget passes.
okay.
But, again, for the village of Webster to actually have something happen where they had to spend all of its reserves and still have a shortfall for something, I can't even imagine what that could be. The village is in pretty good financial health, very good financial health,
Okay.
so.
Stop. You're gonna cheat us.
Thank you. Oh, and I didn't, I'm sorry.
Well, what could happen? An earthquake, or, I don't know.
And FEMA would come in.
Will it?
Richard Wilder, 20 Elm Street. If this catastrophe did happen and we didn't pass the law, I would assume that the village would then acquire a major debt, which we would next year pass the law and take care of the problem.
Yeah, I think there's a multiple ways we can do that.
You're right, you could just,
exactly,
So there's multiple options.
right,
yep.
you could borrow the money and
Thank you.
hopefully
Next year's rate is exactly.
pay it off the following year.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you, Peter.
Twice.
If there is no one else who then would like to address the board at this particular time, I will close the public hearing portion of this meeting. And we will move on to item number 1, regular village business, and that is a resolution to approve minutes from our February 13th board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Next, we have a resolution to approve the claims and warrants.
I went through the ones this evening. too.
Mr. Mayor, you don't mind doing it tomorrow for us? And I won't, okay, thank you.
I'll make that motion.
One second.
Am I okay to take the vote? Sarah?
Pardon?
Am I okay to take the vote? Okay. Trustee Wilkie?
Aye.
Trustee Lancy?
Aye.
Trustee Alito?
Aye.
Mayor Byers?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Any problem with that? Okay, at this particular time, we will move past the other 10 business. I don't believe that we're going to enact any local law this evening, unless we future this year. So I would move now to our attorney, John, if you have anything that you would like to bring to the attention of the board.
I don't have anything.
Keep it quiet and well, then we'll move next to our code enforcement officer to address the board. What activities have been going on this time?
Well, we only had 11 applications, 9 permits were issued, 3 C of Os, 3 CSEs, 3 ZBA applications, and roughly 10 issues with code enforcement that we're doing.
The ZBA,
Yep,
there was brought finally this past meeting about the possible opening on the corner of Main Street.
yeah, the old Jeff's Computer.
Correct.
Yep.
Any news on that?
So he showed up and they approved it. He came in yesterday and hopefully, we're gonna try and do a walkthrough next week with the fire marshal for a change of use, and then at that point, we'll see if he needs any permits to go forward. And, hopefully he'll be up and running soon.
You working with the tenant or building owner?
The tenant.
Okay. Anybody else? have a-
It's like a convenience store / juice bar.
Simple signs.
It could be,
But the juice bar is just a takeout. There's gonna be no seating or anything.
I don't know the drawings that he
Well,
gave.
that's what he told the zoning board,
Okay,
right, Pete,
Yes,
last week.
no seating.
yeah.
He said it was just gonna be shelving and he
Yeah.
said it was just to go for the juice.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because the parking would be fairly limited. I know Jeff really never had more than maybe 2 cars at a time.
And then it's just a drop off. I would assume that it's just gonna be sidewalk traffic.
yeah.
Juice bar, no alcohol, no beer, wine, so, or no beer sold there.
What about tobacco products?
Didn't mention tobacco.
I thought he said no.
He did say no?
He said no?
Did he?
Yeah, he did say no, yeah.
Yeah, he said no to the, I don't remember specifically. tobacco,
CBD.
but probably he said no to the CBD and
Yeah.
vaping and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume that included tobacco, but.
Good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How's the new development going? Any applications for DOs there?
Greenbrier?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still wrapping up section 2. They've got about 3 buildings dug and in the process in section 3, and they just got their approval for 4, so working.
Huh?
Carl said he's watching.
All right,
It's almost
Well, thank you.
tardiness is getting a little out of control.
appreciate that. Heather, anything from the clerk's office?
Yes. We have, as you can see, we have a couple, 4 new mics, one at the podium and then 3 here. We wanted to test them out first before, because they come in sets of 4. And they're wireless, we really like them, but we just wanted to kind of test them out before we ordered a second set, so that's why not everybody has one. But all of the cords below you will go away, including this area back here. That will all be moved into that closet, so there'll be no more cords you're tripping over. And, yeah, so we're excited. And then we have a new podium coming, so it'll have, if someone's gonna present, there's a little spot for a laptop, and it'll just look a little bit more professional, so.
Good.
So this is, sorry, not everybody has one, we just kinda wanna test them out before we reorder. So. And they seem to be,
Much more sensitive in terms also of picking up.
oh yes, sorry, so
rather than
with
having
side
to bring it up to
conversations,
you.
yeah, we tested it where we were back there, and you really, like, when Don was just speaking, you can kinda tell that it's over there. I'm picking it up great on here, so you don't have to be right on top of it. And obviously, hopefully we can hear it in here, but it's definitely being picked up on this, but it is gonna be a little bit more sensitive to side conversation, so all you do if you wanna turn it off, except you, is press and hold the button. Here, till I watch it tomorrow. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And how about now moving to DPW sewer? Jake?
Well, big news is it hasn't snowed in 3 days,
Hey?
so that was good. I just want to, again, thank the crews have been doing a great job keeping up with everything, and it was looking really good.
Oh, they cleared out so much where I am, there on Lapham. Oh, they did a great job today.
Yeah, it was, they got Main Street the last week.
Yeah.
Tried to get that as soon as we could and had an opportunity to clear it out, so the sidewalks are clear and everything, but yeah, they've been doing a real good job.
Yep.
We did get the backhoe delivered the end of last week, had some training on it this Wednesday.
Nice.
So it's a real nice piece of equipment, so thank you again, I know they were happy with that, and the salesperson that came out and trained us was excellent. We had a lot of great information, and it was nice to see. Sometimes salespeople are experts in separating you from your money and not so much on the stuff that they're selling. He was both, I guess, so it was good. It was good for everybody, but it's a nice piece of equipment that'll really help out. For next meeting, I'm gonna see if we can put it on the agenda. There's a letter of credit approval from Greenbrier Crossing for Section 4. That has to, according to our code and our attorney, go to the zoning board first. They have to approve it. And then, or I guess they recommend that the village board approve it, right? I think it's the way it's written there.
It's a little strange. It used to be the planning board, but now it's under the subdivision of land section of the village code. The zoning board actually approves the amount, and then the village board approves the form sufficiency, which I don't know how sufficiency is different from the amount. The form sufficiency and there's another manner of the, basically we actually get the letter of credit from the bank and look at it and you say yes. Because it'll be the same one that Five Star Bank has given them, you know.
Yeah, okay.
But it's up to the zoning board to actually approve the amount, which is nice because frankly, they've got more people on that board that are more qualified to approve the amount than this board. But because there's some builders and engineers and that kind of thing on there.
So this is new, this hasn't happened before for
No.
the previous sections, correct?
It has.
It has.
Yeah, and they've gone to the zoning board, or even the planning board when it was still there before. and then come here.
Anything else?
Yeah, just a couple more. I've got a letter today that I'm going to forward to the board. I got it this afternoon from West Webster Fire District. Wanting to reach out to the village board, see if they can set up a meeting to discuss possible use of some of the well field property for training. So I'll forward that along and then see what's works schedule-wise, or if it's the whole board, or if just a couple members want to sit down with them, or what. And then, I think, and then sewer, the project's moving along and still going. I think we're gonna get some movement on, from RG&E on one of the poles that we're looking at getting replaced there, or moved, and that's been a long, long process. So hopefully that's gonna, it looks like next
Every
week.
process with RG&E is long.
Yes. I heard they had a real good guy that lived in the village that retired a few years ago and everything slowed down.
I've never heard that.
That was good.
I'll make
Waterfront
some
for
calls.
Peter.
It'll be 2
That's
years
it.
before you get it replaced.
Is that it, Jake?
That's it, sir.
Oh, gosh, it was.
Heather has another update.
Yes, Heather.
I forgot that we're finally getting the phones put in. So they will be here tomorrow. Ian from Spectrum will be here to meet with Jake and Karen to kind of go over things and do some training, and then the phones will be put up. You want to make sure you get your questions answered for the nighttime stuff, weekend duty and stuff, for the cell phone and the app and everything. So we'll be training everybody to put it on their phone, and we'll do that soon. Okay. Well, the employees, sorry, you won't have to do it, but, yeah. Yep.
Well, before I close the meeting, I would like to say, Heather, enjoy your vacation. I hear you're going to be leaving us for a week. So come back with a can, hopefully.
I go.
and come back.
I'm going in here.
Enjoy your vacation.
Thanks.
Our next meeting will be on Thursday, March 13th at 7 o'clock here in Village Hall. Thank you all for coming, and I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.